I'm Chad Calcote, and I don't really know where to start. I was hospitalized at the end of 19, October of 19, and basically stayed. I was hospitalized because I had swollen up with albumin, and albumin caused my lungs and heart to collapse because that's your body is fluid. It's bodily fluid built up in my cavity, caused me to collapse. I had to have that cirrhosis or whatever it is, where they have the big needles shoved in your back and they run the little things around through to suck it all out of your chest and the stomach area that's around the heart and lungs. So anyway, they got all that done and started searching to see what had me so messed up. In my blood work, my liver enzymes were horrible and my liver had failed. I had a mass in my liver that they told me has done so much damage. Along, I drank also, so I had cirrhosis, and there was a mass in my kidneys also, and a lesion. I don't know if that was from getting too swollen up and busting or whatever, but anyway, Jimmy had always told me about this Dr. Rife light, so I got interested in it years ago, and I actually piddled with it myself a little bit. I just thought to myself, maybe a welder might be better, so they sent me home from the hospital basically in need of a transplant. I could not have a transplant because I did not have health care at the time. Now I do, and I don't need a transplant anymore. And sent home, told me I'd be back every week to every month, getting these needles shoved in my back and taking albumin out of my body because I could not live like that, and that my life had been shortened down to 6 months to a year. With all the damage that was done, not able to get a transplant and whatever else that was going on. So went home, waited my 6 months, didn't die, ended up hurting real bad, back in the hospital by about a year. They cut me open and found some more issues in my intestines and cut out 3 foot of intestines. Sent me back home, no transplant or nothing. And this time I just decided I'm gonna start piddling with stuff, see what I can do here. So I got my welder out and hooked it up. And Jimmy knows all the settings. Just it's something you just kind of you figure out, as you go. But in my time of figuring, what I did was I had this same basic equipment we have set up now, and I did it probably about every week, 2 weeks, 15, 20 minutes at a time. Sometimes I did it closer together than that. I do it days, in a row here and there. But ended up getting a feeling better after all this surgery. I was sitting home with a big hole in my stomach, galls hanging out, because I couldn't. My body has got ascites now to where I don't heal properly. So it took me a year to heal that. But I started using this thing in that time, and everything just sped up. I started feeling better. My color started coming back, and I was just directing this light. It's a high frequency. This is a arc. You can run AC or DC. This is going to be an AC arc right now with high frequency superimposed. And the frequencies, from what I understand, work like radio waves in the body, and they go in. And the only thing I can say is that within 6 months period, I was a different person, and the doctors, now that I go back, I don't need a transplant. Sure, I still have cirrhosis. It's not affecting me in any horrible way anymore. I'm not swelling up. I don't have to have all those medications. I did do a pretty strict diet, so I suggest a strict diet along with this. Mainly what I ate for about 6 months was homemade soups, lived on just soups, and vegetables and things like that.
Did you not say that you were diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer as well?
That was the masses. Yeah, what they had done, they found these masses, and they could not do no repair work on me, period. It was just too far gone. There's nothing they can do basically unless I get a transplant, and they didn't even know about that because I still had masses in my kidneys. But now they're telling me that everything's looking really, really good. I don't need a transplant. The mass in my kidneys enzymes are fine. They were not able to, after the surgeries, they weren't able to do much more testing after that. My body just don't heal and couldn't take whatever they'd have to do all that. But regardless of that, anyway, now everything is basically non-existent is what it is. And when I go to the doctor, they all want to know what I do. Well, what have I done? You know, they tell me it's damn near a miracle. And I tell them I just prayed a lot, you know, and piddled around with stuff, you know, that people wouldn't believe. 'Cause I want to tell nobody I was using this kind of stuff, you know, to heal myself. But now, I mean, I'm functioning well. My body was not taking on any proteins at all. Jimmy knew whenever he seen me. My arms were about this big around. I weighed 160. I'm back, you know, putting on body mass, stronger, got more energy. Still have a stamina problem. I don't last that long at things, but I'm still working on that. Like I said, I was in and out of the hospital for 2 years and just sick as hell.
But you said you were also stage 4 cirrhosis of the liver.
My liver was non-functioning. My liver had stopped functioning. That's the reason they was going to have me in there every week or whenever it would happen. When your liver's not functioning, your body don't get real any poisons, and people who swell up sometimes just think they're getting overweight. They're not. They could be having internal organ problems causing them to swell up. You know, your body ain't supposed to build up fluids. It's a problem in the area, or there's a problem if your cavity fills up with it. Yeah, the cirrhosis and the mass was killing me. Didn't have any liver function. After I went home and started piddling with this, after the surgery, I went to the doctor every several months, and things weren't going bad, you know, they weren't going great. But after doing all of this, it just started getting better and better. And as time went on, they started telling me there's no need. I was still worried about a transplant. I was just trying to fight to get a transplant. They told me there's no need for a transplant. And I still tell them, you know, I'm worried about that. But they tell me there's no need for it because you're not having problems. The enzymes are right now. Your liver's functioning to where it needs to be functioning. Your kidneys are functioning where it needs to be functioning. This is just something that I piddle with because
you came to me for treatment.
I was to the point of, yeah, I went to Jimmy and told him I needed to use the light because I'd used it before one time years ago.
And I told you about the argon in the tubes, and you remember all that.
And we started thinking about all this. But regardless to that, you know, the time I used it without this process and the process he was doing it, I was down in the back, and it was emergency surgery time. I used it for that horrible pain, and I don't know what happened, but I was able to walk without pain for a year, I would say, you know, and just kind of forgot even I had back pain. But this right here, I can vouch for you. I don't know if that's what did it, praying, or the food did it, but I do know that after doing this, you'll get a little hot feeling, be sweating and junk a little bit. That's kind of normal, I reckon. From what I understand, that's the toxins exiting the body. This is supposed to go in and kill radical blood cells, cancerous or radical type blood cells that could become cancerous, and strengthen good blood cells.
Well, all of that aside, you're a whole lot better now.
I feel like $1 million now. I mean, I feel good now.
Okay, and just for anybody who's listening, I saw this man at his worst, and he looked like a member of one of the zombies on The Walking Dead. Now, with that said,
I got pictures of me if they want to see the pictures. I mean, I got pictures.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do that too.